Up next, the story behind one of the all-time 70s rock classics from a founding member of one of America's greatest funk bands. When this one comes on the radio, we just all turn it up to 11, we jam out. Best heard when cruising down the freeway. The cool, laid-back hit of 1975, next on Professor of Rock. Hey music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. If music touches your heart, it soothes your soul, and makes your toe tap, you're gonna dig this channel. Subscribe below right now to be a part of our community. We discuss music every single day. It's a lot of fun. Make sure to click the bell so you never miss out on the stories of the classics from the legends. Take a look at our offering on Patreon. That helps us create more content, more interviews, and we give you exclusives. The band War was a funk, rock, and soul revival that defined the 1970s. One of the bands that did for sure. Originally known as Eric Burdon and War, the band Eric Burdon was in after the Animals. They had the memorable hit Spill the Wine. War was a fierce fusion of R&B, rock, Latin, and funk styles that made them a force to be reckoned with. The band went beyond racial and cultural barriers with multi-ethnic combinations that breathed new life into radio. They had so many classic songs. I mean, you think about it. This includes their masterpiece, the #1 LP, The World is a Ghetto. That came out in '72. It had the Cisco Kid along with the title track. Just a brilliant album. It was awarded the best-selling album of the year by Billboard magazine. Today, we're going to go behind the classic rock radio staple and #1 R&B song. It also went top 10 Billboard. Lowrider, a crossover hit if there ever was one. War is definitely one of the most underappreciated bands of their time. They were a virtual hit machine throughout the decade. Now, Lowrider was written by famed producer Jerry Goldstein, with its driving bass line by B.B. Dickerson. Its iconic alto saxophone riff by Charles Miller. He also provided lead vocals on the song.
All my friends know the Lowrider.
Of course, starts off with the familiar cowbell beat by Harold Ray Brown. Lowrider isn't just a song. For many, it's a lifestyle. It has been introduced in some way, really, to every generation, whether through Cheech and Chong, The Simpsons, or Gone in 60 Seconds.
The Chong, I am the Chong now. Take a little look.
I was very fortunate to discuss this song at length with War founding member and original drummer Harold Ray Brown. What follows is just wonderful insight of this classic song. You're going to love this. As we go into this interview, I want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear, the brand of frames that I always wear. Speaking of lifestyle, Zenni Eyewear can bring some style to your life with glasses that, go beyond your typical offering that you're going to see at the optometrist's office. They have the most elegant colors, shapes and sizes and styles that you can design your own with amazing features. Check it out today at Zenni.com. Here's the story of Lowrider. Let's talk about Lowrider because
that one.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's my big brother Charles Miller.
Tell me how that came together because that's hot rod and classic. I mean, it's one of those songs that gets you ready. If you have a big event, you listen to that, you're getting in the mood.
Well, I'd say Lowriders were the first recyclers in America. Because myself, when I started cruising, trying to get those brakes in the 60s, I had a 53 Dodge. And what we used to do back in the day, we would take the springs off and I'd get a torch and we'd cut off about 2 of them and it would drop us low. And we hit the tracks and we go, poof. And the police would do this. They used to take a caliper, they would take Lucky Strikes, the small pack, and they would take it and slide it up under the car. And if it didn't clear. And then they measured from our tire, from the rubber, from the ground up to the rim.
Oh, yeah.
And if it didn't go, they'd give you a ticket. So that's how it was. And then Charles, he got into it really deep. He went and got classic old cars and stuff. And when we would go traveling, we were just like lowriders.
Yeah.
And it's a thing out of Southern California, like East LA, Compton, Long Beach. It was just our thing. And what we would do when they said we were recyclers, we wanted us a new fender, a new a windshield or something. We would simply go into the wrecking yards and we'd get old parts and rebuild our cars. And the lowriders still do this.
Yeah.
So one day we were in the studio, and this is where I learned a valuable lesson recording. It was a mistake that I was playing on the drums. I was on the upbeat, I'm going. I wanted, because most people want, even now, they go, on time. It was like a ska. And I was in the studio. I was going, oh no. Oh, I'm on the upbeat. Well, don't panic. Just leave it there. It stopped being an accident. It became intentional. And the next thing I know, with BB, Morris Dickinson, he started on his bass. Boom, 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 boom. Huh. And then Lonnie Jordan with this, and then Howard on the up. And then all
the cowbell.
Yeah, well, but see, we did that. See. But then it was all an accident, because the very first parts with Jerry Goldstein's editing, see, that goes back to the key. We had the right people. Nobody was greater or lesser than the other person.
Mm-hmm.
At that moment, Chris Huston, who was the sound engineer, he used to sit there and just let the tape run. And all of a sudden, Charles just got up there in the mic and says, the Lowrider.
Lowrider is the one to meet. Yeah.
That was right there. He just said, oh, wait, I'm going to go back. It was, he was right there. That energy was in that moment. See, that's why we have to be connected in the spirit, spiritually connected as brothers and sisters, because it wouldn't have happened. Because if anybody came in there and they weren't connected, they wouldn't have been in the flow. And it's like feng shui. We have to be in the flow. And
that's why it's important even for musicians. A lot of musicians these days, because of technology and they're away from each other, they'll email something. But it's greater to be in a room together, because like you've lost that love and feeling. I was talking to the writers of that. They were the energy off of each other, and they were coming up with cool things. That's what was with Lowrider.
Like what we used to do, we'd be rehearsing right down at, in Hollywood, right there, 74-7 studio instrument, right there. We would, after we finished, or we rehearsing down there on Hill Street in Lemon, I drove by there the other day in the little garages and stuff. After we finished, hey, instead of just busting up running back to my big house, or, I got another appointment, like we were talking about time, we would all go to a movie together, and then we'd get ideas.
Magic.
Yeah, we'd go and hang out, we'd see a movie, and we'd say, hey, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we ought to take this. Like City Country City or different things.
It's interesting, a lot of people thought that take a little trip
with me.
rides a little higher, assumed it as a drug reference.
The lowrider is a little higher.
That wasn't a drug reference.
Because see, we're Southern California. If you look at our very first video that we shot on it, it was shot around here, and even like all day music.
All day, all day, all day.
Ride along now with all the window. You need it today at 100 degrees, but that's the vibe you get if you're cruising along Long Beach.
Yep.
Going down past Huntington Beach, or if you're going up to Malibu, if you're cruising through just, Crenshaw or Whittier Boulevard, the palm trees blowing, we get the wind.
In fact, one time when you were cruising along, you guys were able to warn people about a fire. I remember reading that story somewhere.
Charles Miller and I'm just by there. I give God praise. I'm still in the same neighborhood. I love it because I get all this energy. I'm going down there, and one day me and Charles was hanging, and we cut off there on Salt Lake, Hill Street, right around there. And him and I was going down this side street towards the tracks. I got a storage unit right there by where I keep all our band, taxes and all that. We looked, and there was a fire going on right up under in the car, and the people living up over, they didn't even know Charles and I ran out, and him and I started hitting on the doors, throwing barrels against the doors and stuff, kicking it in. See, that's why we have to be connected, because we was in the right places, the right moment, and that's what made our music.
And you were cruising the lowrider.
That's right, we was cruising lowrider. That's why I know the side streets.
Lowrider knows every street. Yeah.
That's how I got here.
Yeah. Well, the covers too. Santana did a cover of it.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever hear that?
Well, Santana and I, a lot of the rhythms I learned, see, he grew up in Tijuana. And about the same time he grew up in Tijuana, I was cruising. Because my mother, I don't gamble. I mean, I gamble on me, but I don't do horse races. I don't play casinos. I don't have that sickness. I don't even play the scratch cards. I was born March 17th. I'm lucky. So I used to slip over. My mother and them with her friends, they'd go down and go to dog races in Tijuana. I would go there and I'd go in and out of the strip clubs. Because that's where I heard that king, ka, con, kinky, ka, ka, king, ka, con, kinky. So when I grew up in South Los Angeles and playing all these different places, all the shake dancers like for me to play behind them. Because I had that king, ka, and they go king, ka, con, kinky, ka, ka, king, ka, ka. All through Santa Barbara and stuff. So later on I found out, whoa, him and I had that parallel thing. That's why I got that thinking. And then when I lived in New Orleans for quite a while at the Singer Theater, big shout out to a lot of my homeboys there in New Orleans. All the Neville brothers, and Bruce Sunpine, all of them, Aldero, my little old green truck.
Oh, wow.
Aldero cruising that with me. Hello. Gladys Knight. I'd be on the side of the stage because I worked as a stagehand for a while. I left my mansion vacant for a whole year and moved to New Orleans, lived in the projects. And nobody knew who I was. I just walked the street. And it was a Red Hot Chili Peppers. We was doing a show and I was over on the ground taping down all, they called me the, clean fag. But anyway, I'm taping all the stuff down. And then old Flea, that's Harold Brown over there. He knew us before we got started. They used to rehearse at 7417 Sunset.
Wow.
And Gladys Knight would be on the side. She'd be doing Arms Are Too Long to Box, Too Short to Box for God. I'd be on the side of the stage because I had worked my way up to house to half house and all that. She'd run over to the side of the stage and grab my glasses off the stage, off my face, and run over to the side. So that was really good because I have a saying. Big shout out to all you stage hands. My saying is, if it wasn't for the stage hands, we'd be all garage bands.
That's right. Well, with Lowrider, Carlos Santana, George Clinton, Korn.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Cetera, Fish. The samples, though, the Beastie Boys sampled on Slow Ride.
Oh, yeah. One that they sample a lot of the, from around South Los Angeles and stuff. Ba-boom, boom, ba-boom, boom. Listen to my heartbeat is beating mighty funky. Bringing the bass and play it funky. Doom, doom, doom. That's me singing it. And that was the first one that, it's not the first rap because historically speaking, a lot of old blues players, they used to do the dozens. Yeah. And they'd be in an old bar and they would just start playing the old blues and start talking and rapping. They were our first rappers. And so we was setting up one time and the drummer was Rare Earth.
Yeah.
I heard him singing. I said, well, if he can sing and play drums, I can too. And we was in the studio and I had a couple of, drinks or whatever. And we just started off, boom, 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 and I just started rapping it down.
Wow.
And so when I got to sheet music, it stretches maybe about 5 pages.
Well, with Lowrider, that part in Gone in 60 Seconds, that was probably pretty cool.
Donnie, Lowrider.
Oh, that is. I love it, yeah.
Okay, let's ride.
Cheech and Chong, it was used in that, Up in Smoke.
Is a little higher.
George Lopez used it.
My friend, the lowrider.
Oh, George Lopez, him and I hung out over in Studio City. Yeah, George Lopez and Cheech Marion. We hung out with him not long ago. He was up in Vancouver.
It was mentioned in that 70s show. I mean, it was such a huge song in the 70s and still such a huge song. It was used in Grand Theft Auto, the video game, San Andreas, and Family Guy.
Hey, 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 girls. Anyone want to make the Kessel Run?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, you know, when you go in, I got to say, we've been blessed. All the original members of War, we've been blessed. When I say original members, I'm talking about Howard E. Scott, Lee Oscar Levington. I'm talking about Morris B.B. Dickerson. I'm talking about Charles W. Miller, Sylvester Papa D. Allen. Did I count everybody? Missing anybody? Oh, me.
Thanks so much for watching. Leave us a comment about this feel-good classic song of the 1975, a little joke there. What are your memories and experiences with this song? If you like this video, we would invite you to be a full-time part of our community by subscribing below right now. We'd love to have you. Also, we invite you to check us out on Patreon. Just give it a look. Help us keep the music alive. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends.